This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast with 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in that games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Standard Time on YouTube and 8 a.m. on iTunes, Spotify and other podcast services. If you'd like to be a part of future conversations, please join us on Facebook, Discord, comment below. If feeling generous, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/popculturists. Head over there, check out the tiers. Might be something there that interests you.
If you support us on Patreon, you can watch us record this show live, as well as our other show, The Young and the Wrestlers. So by supporting us at any dollar value, you get yourself a nice little sneaky link where you can join in the conversations as they happen.
Except today.
I've already said that already?
Oh, did you?
Huh?
What?
What?
I said except today.
Except today. Oh, yeah, except today. Because today, it's Sunday. It's late in the evening because I've been at PAX all weekend. But we'll get to all those things in a second. So you can support us in a more one-stop fashion if you head over to Facebook, the PopCulturists.com/shop. You can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on a Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturists. As we know, times have changed there. But yeah, so this week's a little bit different because this is PAX weekend. It is currently 7:30 on a Sunday evening after 4 days away at PAX for me. So Thursday through to Sunday, just for you. But we
2.5 hours for me.
Yeah, you're there for about 25 minutes.
Maybe 3.
Oh, you're there for a fair bit of time.
Yeah.
So this week, because of that, we are focusing on two main things this week. It's the PlayStation 5 news and then PAX. That's it. Yeah, twofer. That's all you get this week. But we'll probably chat for a little while. How are you, man?
Yeah. Couldn't be any more apathetic at the moment. It's late. I got uni tomorrow. I'm up early. I'm normally in bed by now on Sunday.
Yeah, and I'm in a similar boat. I'm absolutely rooted. I got home about 5-ish.
I thought you said you were leaving at 2.
Yeah, so by the time we got to the car and that sort of stuff, it was ended up with leaving the city about 3. So we got back here about 5 because traffic was bite. Yeah, so PAX weekend was very good, but we'll get to that a little bit. It's just getting straight. It's like there's no piss farting around today because everything what we've been playing will come in that later part. Oh yeah, I got a Ubisoft airbrush tattoo.
When was that, yesterday or today?
No, that was today.
It's already rubbed off.
Already come off. That's because I had a shower.
Oh.
It's just airbrush paint and I had a shower. Like, how dare I have a shower? Like, I didn't think it would come off that easy.
Now's the time to strike and go to a tattoo shop and be like, paint over it. Exactly this.
All right. Well, this week we're going to tell you one piece of news, and so we will just inform the players about PlayStation 5.
Let me silence this off. I don't see the need for Snapchat to tell you when someone's typing and then when they finish typing.
Yeah, it's frustrating, yeah.
And you can't turn it off. I don't give a fuck that they're typing. Just tell me when they're done.
Why are you using Snapchat? Were you tween or something?
I was coerced. That's how people communicate these days.
Apparently.
Well, I was communicating with it 7 years ago before all you fucks.
So earlier this week, PlayStation Sony released some information about the PS5 in a Wired article, similar to how they did earlier in the year. This one has a bit more specifics in there. So the other one was all about the internal specs. This adds a little bit more about what we would expect from the PS5. What do you got, Josh?
Have I got the right one?
I don't know.
I'm going to assume I've got the right one.
What date is it from?
The 0th of October, 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Now that the name is official. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The PlayStation 5 will be called the PlayStation 5. No funny code names. No Scorpio business. Nothing. It's the PlayStation 5. Come as a shock to no one. And it's coming holiday 2020. Holiday America 2020 is about now-ish for us. Right?
No, holiday is Christmas.
Yeah, but it'll be before Christmas.
Oh, so as in right now in 2019. Yes. As of right now in 2019, but in literally a year from now.
Yeah.
So this time next year, we would be presumably weeks away from PS5. Because I'm expecting probably a mid-November release date.
I don't know how much of this you want me to actually read.
Skim the basics. Skim it as we go. What are the key points?
I was just about to read a line, but it's actually talking about the Scarlet, the Xbox. So I don't...
All right, so in short, there are a couple of things that... you got it? No, we're back? All right.
It will boast a CPU based on AMD's Ryzen line and a GPU based on the Navi family.
Cool. So this is sort of adding to information that we already knew in the past. We knew there was they were working with AMD, so there has been some bit more locked in details here. As I'm sure I've discussed plenty of times before, the Ryzen is an exceptional CPU. It has this ability to multitask like a champion, and as we're looking into that more streaming side of potential, or even just the ability for games to use multi-cores within a CPU more efficiently, Ryzen will be the way to go.
And a solid state drive.
That's adding to information we already had. They announced that the solid state drive is part of it, and they've discussed how the solid state drive will allow for faster load times.
Yeah, they went into how that works, but I don't think that's really pertinent.
Yeah, so rather than being like, we have a special proprietary SSD, they're like, no, there's almost like there's software in there to work better with an SSD. So they're not like having this big fancy pants, PlayStation only hard drive.
Mark Cerny wanted to clarify something about when they discussed ray tracing a little while ago. He fears that they were a little bit ambiguous about how the PS5 would accomplish it, and confirmed it's not software level fix, which some had feared. Quote, there is ray tracing acceleration in the GPU hardware, which I believe is a statement that people were looking for. Yeah,
so similar to HDR and how there is this sort of issue with HDR that's done via software or done by hardware, because it can deliver a different result when it's based on like algorithmic sort of possibilities. It doesn't deliver exactly what they want, or the best way to do it, I guess. And I think ray tracing is the same. I presume that there is a better experience, a better way for it to look and play and whatnot with that. Now, NVIDIA did have some ray tracing setup thingy at PAX. I didn't go because when I got the invite, I was like, I don't know what those words mean, so I didn't go.
Wouldn't that be a reason to go?
It's a good point. But it's NVIDIA, and it's like PC stuff. I'm going to do PC stuff. But no, it turns out that they had Minecraft there, and they were demonstrating the power of ray tracing with Minecraft. Holy actual crap.
Minecraft can look good, man.
Oh, man, Minecraft looks amazing with ray tracing. Just like how light disperses, how it reflects off water. It's absolutely astounding.
Imagine that in God of War.
Ooh.
Talking about in terms of installing games, you will have apparently have an option to choose which part of the game you want to install first. So with Call of Duty, for example, if you just want to play the multiplayer, you can install that and play it before installing the single player, so you have to wait for the entire thing to finish before playing the part of the game you want to play.
That's been somewhat common practice for some games, not a whole lot. Re-downloading The Last of Us after my disc stopped working for some reason, it gave me the option to do single player and multiplayer first. So that's pretty cool. I think this was supposed to be standard across the board for PS4, but for some reason didn't deliver. Have you seen it recently? No.
And I really hope the way they deliver patches to games changes too, because it is absolutely disgusting.
Where they double the space, copy it?
Yeah, the whole copying process and all of that.
It's a safety thing, however, it's frustrating.
60 gig Destiny 2, they put a 100 meg patch, and it takes an hour and a half.
Because it
downloads the patch in a minute and a half, and it takes an hour and a half to copy the entire installation. I would much rather have the option to go, just put the patch on. If it fucks up, that's on me. I'll wear it, but whatever. I don't like it. I think I've been really mad about it before too.
We have. I think we have expressed disdain.
Talking about the UI. In a further quote from Mark Cerny, quote, even though it will be fairly fast to boot games, we don't want the player to have to boot the game to see what's up, or boot the game to see what's up. That's a weird quote. Multiplayer game servers will provide the console with a set of joinable activities in real time. Single player games will provide information like what missions you could do and what rewards you might receive for completing them. All of those choices will be visible on the home UI. As a player, you just jump right into whatever you like. So instead of booting Call of Duty, going to multiplayer, logging in, you can boot in the multiplayer straight from the UI, and it just bypasses all that and you're straight into the multiplayer.
Yeah, look, that
or
is...
if your friend's playing a game and there's a spot, you can go join. It goes,
Does it do that now?
I don't know, does it? I don't play with people. That's what he's alluding to here.
Well, yeah, so because now if I go join, if I see someone playing a multiplayer game, I can go join game and I'm just in it. And it kicks me straight to where I need to be to get involved. The idea to jump into, because in the example he was like jumping to specific missions within a game and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds like it's something you're like, well, we need to do something different.
Yeah, like.
So how about this?
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing, because, you know, what I think that's different for us is we play a lot of single-player stuff, right? So we don't want to jump back into a specific, like, Mission 3 when we're on to Mission 9 or something.
No, I think
I'm just happy to load the game up and give it a go.
It shows you where you were up to or what missions are available to you at that time.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
I think, like, I don't know, for an example, Division 2, when you can do, like, 4 different things at once. 4 different missions. Well, I want to do that one. And you boot it from the home menu.
Okay. I remember that.
Okay.
That's not super bad.
I went into talking a little bit more about the controllers. The DS5 will have something called adaptive triggers, which can offer varying levels of resistance to make shooting a bow and arrow feel, I'm not shitting you, like the real thing. The tension increasing as you pull the arrow back, or make a machine gun feel far different from a shotgun. It also boasts haptic feedback, far more capable than the rumble motor console gamers are used to, with highly programmable voice coil actuators located in the left and right grips of the controller.
So previously, rumble in a controller was these little motorized spinny things. That would spin and create the rumble, right? So now they're using the haptic feedback. It's very similar to what's in the Switch Joy-Cons. It's also what's in most phones these days. Like I know iPhones use it quite heavily. What it can actually do, because it's kind of a digital rumble, it can really change what the frequency, the intensity.
Well, there's an example
of the
here from the writer of the article. He played some VR stuff, and he said sand felt very slow and sloggy. Mud felt slow and sloggy. On ice, a high frequency response made the thumbsticks feel like my character was gliding. Jumping into a pool, got a sense of resistance on the water. On a wooden bridge, a bouncy sensation. Like,
well, it's just, I think it just comes down to, just think Nintendo Switch.
We need to iterate.
Yeah. See, my concern is, like, is that technology expensive? How much is a new controller? Because, like, the idea of the resistance triggers is pretty cool. I feel Xbox have done that in the past. I think maybe with, like, Forza or something. So rather than just going, like, a smooth, like, it feels like it's pushing against you, depending on the surface or what you're doing. It's very cool.
That's about it for now, really.
Yeah, and didn't they confirm that the pictures we've seen of the dev kit with the big old V is legit?
Version of Gran Turismo Sport that Sony had ported over to a PS5 dev kit. It looks a lot like the one they reported on last week. The company refused to comment. On question about how the dev kit's form factor might compare to what's being considered for the consumer product. So, yes. They didn't confirm it, but yes. Yeah. Basically.
So, the final release won't look like that because it'd be gross. But at least the dev kit looks like that. Now, we've seen 1,000 dev kits in our time. And, they look nothing like what you get final.
No.
So, a lot of information there.
Yeah.
Well, before we jump into that bit, what's your thoughts on all this?
Sounds really expensive, man.
Yeah, it does. Sounds so expensive.
Well, when they were asked about the price, we've said this quote before, and I think he said it again, that the price will be accurate for what is given, and our consumers should be pleased with that, or something along those lines. So in other words, it's a lot of money.
Sorry, I'm just responding to Dylan.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah, that is my big concern here. Is it does sound like a lot of money. Even just the controller alone, that sounds incredibly expensive. So how much do controllers go for now? Like somewhere between $60 and $100? Yeah,
it depends what gen they are, like which release they are.
Yeah, and like what color they are, I guess.
Yeah, brand new ones, $99.95. Yeah, of the latest colors.
Yeah, well, seeing only because it's the only comparison we have. Seeing as a pair of Nintendo Joy-Cons go for like $120, and I presume a big hunk of that is the tactic rumble. And seeing as now the Nintendo Switch Lite does not have it, therefore, if they've removed it, you can presume it cost a lot of money. Like when people go from the full version to the Lite or the Slim or the small version, they remove what's most expensive and what's not important to the delivery of other future games.
I'm going to say they're going to retail for $200.
Fuck.
As in, that'll be the RRP, but you'll probably get them for $169, $179 or something. That's going to be that's what I'm putting down.
That seems so exorbitant, doesn't it?
It's pretty much what an Xbox Elite controller costs.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I know there's constant demand for the
proprietary
for the proprietary elite stuff, but
not anymore.
Like, I know people complain about the standard control and they want the standard control to be better, but I think they want it to be better without costing more.
One thing I'm interested in is how the few games that do heavily rely on the touchpad, Killzone, Infamous, Tearaway, how are they going to cope with backwards compatibility? Or you just use your PS4 controller on the PS5?
I think that's probably the most likely option. Have they mentioned the trackpad?
No.
Because remember there was the rumor mills of having a screen in it. That would be expensive.
I'll bump it to $299 then.
Yeah, I just round it up.
Yeah. No, I don't think it'll have a screen, but they obviously not going to continue with that touchpad either. So yeah, just interesting how they will deal with the games that do need, like, were built around having that touchpad. The few games that there are, and however many people might not or will play them anymore, but you know, or can you use your PS4 controller and get like a worse controller experience, quote unquote, for those particular games. Yeah,
because that in that piece, do they specify that this is the standard what the standard controller will be, or are they just alluding that this controller exists?
Neither of those. It's just like, tell me about the controller. Well, this is what I'm telling you about the controller. Haptic, better speaker,
okay,
all that stuff. So he didn't say this is one of your options. It's just...
But they didn't say that.
Tell me about the controller. Okay, here's what it has. Is that the only one? I just answered your question.
Sorry, part of me is hoping that there's not an expensive option. But
use the PS4 controller.
Yeah,
that's the not expensive option.
What it'll be? This makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Be a bit shit to have all your games as backwards compatible, but somehow the PS4 controller doesn't work on the PS5. Fuck off, as if that'd be a thing.
Yeah. Well, because you can bring the PS4 over to the PS controller over to the PS3, I think, or vice versa. Because for some reason, if you ever want to use the PS3 controller, I think it's PS4 to PS3. Because why would they be like, hey, you want to use that PS3 controller? It's only going to really hurt your hands.
It wasn't that bad. I don't. Still not enough info for me to really comment. It sounds good.
Yeah.
But all the stuff they're focusing on, to me, isn't next gen. You know, right? SSDs have been around for a decade.
Yeah.
Ray tracing, while relatively new, has still been around for a little while.
Yep.
4K has been around for how long? As in, it's next gen
for
a home console.
Yes.
Yeah. Not as in next gen, as in here's something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Because consoles can't do that.
See, but maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's where because consoles are essentially mini PCs at this point. So I think that's potentially part of it. You know, like in terms of the next leaps and bounds, there isn't, because PC could do it. The only
has done it
already.
It,
yeah, you know. With the likes of ray tracing and whatnot. And even then, it's that situation of even if we use VR as an example, right? So that, like, even in console, what improvements PSVR can make, the likes of Vive are releasing that.
Well,
like,
Dad's bought the Oculus Quest,
the portable one.
The portable one that doesn't need anything. $799. No cords, no computer needed, nothing.
Wow.
No cameras, because it's all in the headset.
Yeah.
And he's bought 7 VR headsets at this point. This is his favourite, hands down, and it's the cheapest. And then you can Having said that,
compared to the PC kind.
Having said that, the Oculus Quest at the moment can't play everything because it's limited in its power. But in a couple months, you can just stream it from your PC to your headset.
Fuck.
So, as long as you're home or somewhere with an interconnection to your PC, doesn't matter how powerful it is because you just stream it over to it. And like I said, that's $7.99. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
That's the one he got sent 2 of by accident from Amazon. He's still got it at home. They never asked for it back. He hasn't opened it.
Just in case.
But this was 4 or 5 months ago.
And they've not done anything?
Nothing.
What's he going to do with it? Resell it?
No, he's just keeping it. In case his breaks, he's got another one.
Because in case he gets a little bit too immersed?
Because my dad can't sleep, so he's awake at 3:34 in the morning.
Yeah.
He goes in the backyard with the Oculus Quest and plays zombie games and stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's what he does. Because he can't sleep. And because there's no cords and you don't need cameras and all that, you got the freedom just to, I'm going to play this horror game
in the dark.
It doesn't matter if it's in the dark, but outside.
That's what I'm saying, like in the dark, because it doesn't matter.
And the ambience and everything from just being outside. That's fucking cool.
That is amazing.
And it's, like I said, only $800. So, you know, the argument of you need a $2,000 PC to play VR on top of the VR headset cost is null these days. It doesn't exist, that argument anymore. I don't know why we're talking about that. Because we're going to move into...
Yeah, I was trying to segue.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah. So along with this, there has also been announced these potential new patents. So these patents that have been filed quite a while ago about potential changes to PSVR.
Yeah, someone from Sony did comment essentially saying we patent shit all the time.
Yeah.
So don't read too much into it.
Yeah, which is pretty much it.
You know. So the new patent for the PlayStation VR headset depicts several new features which may turn up in the next gen of the device. The headset the picture of the headset includes 2 front and 1 rear camera. A further camera is included on a PlayStation Move style controller, so a new controller. The headset cameras are in addition to the LEDs installed around the current unit. A microphone will again be included. There's also the option for a further separate camera to track the user's movements, like the PlayStation camera or the Kinect. Most excitingly, perhaps, as I mentioned, the headset could be operated wirelessly with data sent and received via Bluetooth. This would mean the unit also includes its own power supply. One final point is the ability for the headset to show a transparent view made possible by the front-facing camera, so you can see your surroundings through the screen. Images from both of these cameras can be displayed at the same time, one per eye, producing a stereoscopic 3D effect. Alternatively, they could be used to overlay AR effects in your real-world surroundings.
That's pretty cool.
Sounds pretty cool.
Once again, already achieved in the Vive. But for consoles...
Oculus.
Cool. Yeah.
But for consoles...
Yeah, for consoles, that's fucking awesome. Because that's one of the biggest problems that I have, is like, I just get the headset comfy, and I walk into the table, I'm like, oh shit, where's the table? And I go, take it off and move the table. Like, if I could just leave it on, do what I got to do, or my wife comes in, or my kid comes in, I can be like, boop. I'm like, oh, hey, I can still, I look like a dingus, but I can see you.
Oh, hey, move.
Yeah.
Move, man.
Hey, buddy, can you move out of the way? Thanks, mate. So there are a couple of incredible improvements there. If we do see these in the new VR.
Can I point out the picture for the supposed new Move controller?
Yep.
Looks suspiciously like a Simpsons donut.
Oh, it does. That's sprinkles.
Pink with sprinkles.
Oh.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. So it looks to be like a Move controller, but rather than the dome, it's a ring.
Yeah, that has sprinkles.
Yeah, so maybe the ring light allows it to identify like that sort of pivot movement more, because the circle would just move and you wouldn't see a difference in the light. It's also very weird that they're still focusing on that light system.
Well, maybe it's not though. I mean, the Vive controllers also have rings around them as well. They don't light up, but they serve some function.
I have no idea how the Vives work.
No.
They baffle me in a good way.
I think all controllers have some sort of something around it.
And I like the back camera is awesome, because depending on how it works, one of the biggest problems is, the PlayStation has like that one facing camera. It's not very good anyway. So the second anything gets behind you,
I'd argue if you're going to use the back facing camera, it has to be wireless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? if you had all those cables and you've got 360 vision, that's just asking for problems.
Yeah.
I think, anyway. I've seen Dad go through a Christmas tree doing that same thing. So, Mum's got a video of it. So, speaking from experience, backwards facing camera plus wires, it's probably not great.
Yeah.
But I'd assume the simple fact of making it wireless would jack the price up. Just that one thing.
Yeah, well, just the battery alone,
making the capability
in innards. It all comes down to, I guess, how maybe it's the same thing. Maybe it's the streaming idea similar to your PC. But once again, I wonder how. Presumably, the PS5 would be staggeringly more powerful than the PS4. So maybe it has that ability to push that to the VR. But
I just read like it's sent and received via Bluetooth. It's like my soundbar won't even stay connected to my phone.
I put my microwave on and it fucks the Bluetooth of my soundbar.
I have to put my phone on my soundbar
to
keep Bluetooth going, and then I take it to the kitchen. It's like,
and your kitchen is your lounge is small and open.
Lounge, yeah. So the thought of sending Cyberpunk 2077 in 4K to a VR headset seems just a little too much for me to believe right now.
And because to add into what you talked about before, as in like these are the things about next gen that aren't exciting you. But I think that's why they're releasing them in the article form. We talked about this when they announced like all the innards earlier. It's really boring shit for some. For me, it's very exciting because I'm an idiot. But
just show me the games.
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty much at the point now. Just show me the games. That's all I'm going to do on this thing. I don't care about what streaming service you've got it set up to. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I'm just going to just show me what I can play and how me playing them has changed.
Yeah, I do think they're doing all this, so when they do decide to do that big official reveal, you get none of this shit. They're like, look, we've told you all the boring details already. Here are the games.
Hopefully.
I think that's where they're going to go.
But them looking into a new VR headset makes sense.
Yeah, because
at this stage, PSVR is old. It's just old tech. They accomplished something really cool with it at a good price point, but it is old.
Well, this week it marks 3 years because there's videos on my posts on my Facebook from me 3 years ago, putting it on my face. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years ago. I played it like 9 times.
Max has played it more than you.
Yeah. I think he has actually. And it's one of those things that, some of those additions though are enough for me to look at probably changing it and upgrading it if the time comes. But I'd probably get the console first. The VR would be very much a secondary thought.
I don't think they'd release anywhere near each other anyway.
Yeah,
I'd say the VR would probably be the year after if they do decide to go ahead with it.
Makes sense. But let us know what you think of the PlayStation 5 and the new PlayStation VR news. Comments below, social medias, all those things are in the descriptions. Now, Josh.
That's it for the news, Ryan, as we have a chat to the players about PAX Melbourne 2019. Hang on.
What's going on? Have you got a soundboard or something? You just...
Snapchat.
Oh.
My sister has discovered a beehive in their outdoor speaker.
Oh, no. Keep us updated.
Her husband's there, like behind the sliding door. Can't just build a beehive in me fucking speaker.
That'd be horrifying, actually.
Welcome to spring.
Yeah. So
this week, dealt with a beehive before?
I think I remember my dad's place. I think had a hornet's nest.
Oh, that's much worse.
That's much worse. Yeah.
No, you'll die.
Yeah. So we didn't use the front door for very long time.
Yeah, just leave them.
Yeah,
they'll move on in their own time.
Like,
I'm not going to disturb them.
Let us see how it goes.
There's a subreddit dedicated to idiots removing beehives. It's good stuff.
There's our weekly which subreddit you should follow.
One guy was on like an 8-story building, and it's like out on his window, so he opens a sliding door really fucking
and the
hard,
window falls off.
And the window falls off, and then the bees are everywhere because he split the hive open, and he can't close the window because it's fallen off. It's brilliant.
People are stupid.
I live for this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, PAX.
But yeah, this weekend, myself, Dylan, and we were accompanied by our good friend Craig from the Mile Show. We travelled to Melbourne, Australia.
Did Jem?
Yeah, Jem came today. And Jem was there as well. She was there today. So we spent the last 3 days at the Melbourne Convention Centre having a look at what games are on offer for PAX. Now, Josh, you came as well. You came on the Friday.
I did.
You came for a couple of hours.
A few.
A few hours. Yeah, more than a couple.
It was 3.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
About 3.
But you did some. So that's... because I've got a lot to say, obviously. What do you think? Yeah.
I took last year off because I thought... Well, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I just need a break from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year didn't help much.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything against it. I just think I've just grown out of it, I guess.
Yeah. But in what way, though?
Like, just none of it's interesting to me anymore. Like, I'm super cynical. Like, walk in, obviously there's thousands of people there, and I'm like looking at the games and I'm looking at the lines and I'm like, why would you wait there for that game? What the fuck is exciting about that to wait there for 45 minutes, you fucking dumb idiot? People do what they do to have fun, but for me, I'm just like, and it's just like, there's 19 different subwoofers buffing drum and bass, but different tunes, so it's just like,
and different tempos.
The subs are just like, and it's just it's just so loud, and everyone's spruiking something at all these PC booths, trying to get, cheer and you get a t-shirt. Whoa!
Saying that though, because our friend Ethan was there, he was at the Cool Master booth, so I was on the other side of the building, and all I hear is, when I say tag, you say mods, tag. What? I'm like, so I messaged him, I'm like, are they chanting your name? I'm like, you fucking rock star.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it without sounding like a douche.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems so consumerism now. And I'm not against that, but I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah. So there's a weird line here. And so I agree with you, because like there are some things about PAX that frustrate me, and they are one of them.
Shop, pre-order this, pre-order that.
However, having gone to Oz Comic Con recently, Oz Comic Con is so much worse. Now, granted, these are both selling you things, but...
Did I go last year with you to Oz Comic Con?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Shops?
Yeah, it is literally shops. And about 9 of them out of the 12 of them, as an example, a good like 80% of them are all selling pop vinyls. Like, those Comic Cons, like Supernovas and whatnot, they are consumerism. Like, the entire hall, the expo hall, is just a marketplace. Yeah. And then they have occasionally panels over there that you can go and see.
All that's worth going there for is Boss Logic artwork.
Yeah, which is what I do. I go down, I buy it, and I leave. And then there's like, but then there's the artist alley as well, which, still costs money, but that's different kind of supporting. Where PAX, it's the way it does that, it's still selling. It's an entire consumerism-based event, but the big difference is you pay for it later. There is no money, like for most things there's not a money exchange. Now I noticed this year there were a lot less stalls selling stuff.
I agree with you on
but
that.
The ones that were left were just louder.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't find anything to enjoy there anymore.
Yeah. So last year,
because I do take this blackout stance on games now. It's like, do you want to play it? Well, no.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer, I'm gonna get it. I don't need to play it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All that I was interested in was Minecraft Dungeons. Because that game looks fucking sick.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's like Diablo Minecraft. That's amazing. I was like, yes, I'll play that. I didn't, but I was interested in it.
I have a story about that actually. So I was with Buddy Watson, a good friend from dashgamer.com. We were standing in line to see this, and we'll see people playing on Xboxes, and then this guy's like, hey, who wants to play it on PC? We're like, fuck it, we'll play it on PC, why not? I just want to play the game. So he goes, alright, come around here, walk on the other side, and this guy's standing there, he's like, yeah, no, we gotta reboot the PCs, bye mate.
Back of the line.
I'm like, you just pulled us out from 3 people from the front. And the line has gotten staggeringly bigger. Yeah, but so I ended up playing Minecraft Dungeons. But
and also like 80 I don't know, I can't put an exact percentage on, but so many of the games there are just, they're already out.
See, that I think that is a this year problem.
Well, yeah, maybe. Like I said, I missed last year.
Yeah. See, last year had a lot of cool things that were coming out in the next like 3 or 4 months, right? Less than in the past, but they had a lot more here. With this year being that transition year, not a lot was there. So, use an example, the PlayStation booth, they had a lot of what they had on offer were collaborations with other brands. So, they had Final Fantasy VII Remake with Square Enix. They had Avengers with Square Enix. They had Medieval, a playable demo of what was already out last week.
People were waiting in line to play it.
Yep.
What the fuck are you doing?
Concrete Genie, which is a game that came out last week, $40.
I think that's probably close enough.
That one's okay.
You know.
They had Iron Man VR, which comes out in February, March next year. That's pretty good. They had Neo 2. So that one's pretty new and cool. And they had Dreams. And Dreams Brief was pretty much empty.
And what I think a lot of people thought would be able to play Death Stranding.
Yes, and Death Stranding was there. They had a booth, but the booth was a presentation of what was at Tokyo Game Show. So it's not even anything new. And I think that's the problem. I think because of the quiet nature of a lot of companies right now, and because we're waiting for once that next gen gets officially revealed, and then we'll get the flood of games. So next year, I think next year's PAX would be dope.
It just sounds like a selling pitch, like a sales pitch. Like this year was but next year, I promise you, next year will be great.
Yeah.
Please buy a ticket, because next year will be so much better. Know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand that too.
And
but
Nintendo's big main offering was Link's Awakening remake.
And Pokemon's.
And Pokemon's. But Link was out like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And Pokemon's out like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yep. I had Luigi's Mansion too, but that's out at the end of this month anyway.
Who cares about that game?
Yeah. Look,
a lot of people do.
Yeah,
I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on people for going and having fun, because I used to as well. I don't anymore.
I think the difference is I do think because of the nature of what we do and how we've approached it in the past does affect that. You know what I mean? Like saying that, I think if we for any reason didn't get press passes, we would probably hate it more because we have to pay extra. Yeah. But
I paid for this.
Yeah. But I do think there's a little bit of, I wouldn't say spoiled, quote unquote, but like our experiences are tainted because this is our 5th year in a row.
Oh, not mine.
Oh, well, this is my 5th year in a row. You know what I mean? So like we've seen some highs and we've seen some lows, and that's the ebb and flow of it. And
I'm all for like people expressing themselves and all that, but some of the cosplays was like, are you like really?
You just being a dad.
Like really? Like that's what you want to like wear here with these kinds of the people that are here? Because you know that some of the small subsection of people that go.
Yeah, to be creepy.
To be creepy. It's like okay, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's just because I have a 15-year-old daughter now.
Yeah, and you're very conscious of that now. Yeah, I think that's certainly part of it.
Because some of those girls weren't over 18.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah, and
I relate to this on a different kind of level.
Yeah, and on top of that, like one thing, you know, not to be mean, but one thing I noticed, man, all these cosplay photographers, creepy looking dudes.
Yeah, very. The amount of, because when I smoked outside, the amount of guys that would stop girls wearing like fucking sailor tits out or whatever uniform they want to wear.
But I mean, like they had like big, like
yeah, but that's what I mean. It'll be like, you know, now stand there, and you know, if you could do a pose and maybe bend forward a little bit, perfect, you know. And now maybe I'll stand on this chair. Yep, that's good.
I'm gonna lay on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of like creepy photos taking place outside.
Yeah, man, very uncomfortable. But saying that though, I did see one woman who was getting, and the guy was kind of getting her to like stand with her legs apart a little bit, and he kept getting Lauren. Lauren just goes, nah, mate, and fucking leaves. I'm like, yeah, because he's kind of like just kind of drifting, and she's like, what the fuck? She's like, no, fuck this, and just leaves.
Now put your fingers up there.
Yeah, that's what it almost was. And yeah, to her credit, she was like, fuck this, and left, which was awesome. But yeah, so the way I approach it these days is, because think about it in the past, right? The way we used to cover PAX, the way we used to cover these conventions, we would go fucking ham. We would cover everything, we would play everything, and we would make videos about everything. We would do our job. But in the
do
last
our hobby.
do our hobby. In the last couple of years, we have chosen to be more selective for that reason. And that came with changing this channel to be more PlayStation focused. Therefore, it allowed us to niche ourselves in a way. So we don't have the obligation to cover a ton of indies, cover Xboxy things or Nintendo things if we choose not to. If we wanted to, we could, but our obligation was to this one subsect of the show. So for that reason, this year I focused my point down and I picked the games that caught my attention the most. And those three were Final Fantasy VII, Avengers, and Doom Eternal. So I went out of my way to make that possible. So Doom Eternal, I organised an appointment for. Avengers was my number one stop on Friday, and then my number one stop today was Final Fantasy. So like I structured my weekend around the three games that I wanted to check out the most, and the rest I did meeting and greeting with people that we need to. I did like fucking two straight hours of podcasting at the Audiotenica booth. I did a bunch of different things that we normally wouldn't have the option of doing. So I'm saying we did less, I also kind of did more. Very exhausting week. But I think that's the benefit of that. Of the changes that we've made. It's allowed us to to be like, I'm not going to pursue anything here because I don't want to. And I'm in the same way, like, I'm going to play the games that I choose to do. And then you see all these people that are like covering all these games. Like there's multiple times I talked about how the indie game section is very cool and I love that they are there. However, it just doesn't always interest me. There are some gems that stand out, like what used to be Scouts Honor, which is now called Camped Out. Big fan. That was amazing. It's like Overcooked, but camping based. Sounds fantastic.
The game from Torquay seems cool.
Game from Torquay, Broken Road seems really cool as well. My friend Mark.
Post-apocalyptic in Australia. We're getting like mutant roos and shit. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's made down the road. I should probably reach out and be like, hey, can we come down?
I'm in Torquay like 3 times a week for work. Like,
and then my friend Mark, who I grew up with in back in my hometown, like he was there presenting his game, which is this really cool AR experience, and like that part's awesome. But then I'm also seeing games that I saw last year and the year before, and some even the year before that.
I remember playing Hollow Knight at one of these events.
We did.
And I was like, I was thinking this is going to be good. Like, this is going to be a big thing. And look at Hollow Knight now, it didn't start at, PAX, but it had one small corner booth at PAX or EB Expo.
Yeah, it was part of PAX Rising. So it was part of the not PAX Rising. PAX Rising is the whole thing. So there's a little section where the showcase. So they're almost like they select 5 indie games that will stand out that they think will do well.
And boy, did it stand out.
Yeah, holy shit. See, that's what I'm saying. Like every time that I sit there and I diss or I talk mild bad about the indie section,
you don't know what's in there.
There's always some that end up pushing.
There's always a few there that will break through. I do think Broken Roads will.
Yeah, I think the Australian aspect of it
not to like Hollow Knight levels, but to be like, because that type of game, which is like, I think like Wasteland, like original Fallout 1 and 2 style game, that doesn't appeal.
2.5D
doesn't appeal to everyone, but for the people that it does appeal to, I think that game will have good success.
Yeah, so there are some winners in there, but once again, majority of them, their plans are Switch and Steam. Like if you ask for PlayStation, they're like, I don't know, we don't know, maybe one day. Yeah, and like they were okay. Well, it makes it tough for us.
It's just kind of overwhelming too, because there's 20-something, just rows and rows of indie games, and they're all different colors. It's like, no.
Yeah, because that's the one thing. As you and I become, as we get older, we're becoming more aware of our mental health. So as we're there, like normally I would just push through and fucking burn myself out. Where now I'm like, it's getting too much. I'll go outside. Like I'm starting to learn how my brain works. So like before I would just play, wow, my heart's racing. I assume that's because I'm unfit and I've been walking around all day and maybe
it's
fine.
I'll not have another full cream coffee.
Yeah, maybe I'll just do something else. And then but now it's like, oh no, this isn't an exhaustion thing. This is something else.
This is a mental break.
Yeah, I'm going to go sit outside.
I know, I understand why it's popular still, but just there's nothing there for me anymore. Yeah. Really? And even if there was, like, The Last of Us 2 is playable, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to play it. It's out in 4 months. Yeah. Why would I play a 20-minute slice of it now? Why would I do that? Who would do that? A lot of people.
Yeah.
But
I probably would.
you know, it's
I'm shameless.
like,
I would totally do that.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the show only. Not for me. Benefit of the show.
Yeah. It's just not much for me to look forward to there anymore. My favourite thing is walking through the tabletop section and just looking at all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
like,
see,
this is all fucking rad.
Yeah,
I want to play
that my job has changed.
I want to play all of this stuff.
Dude, speaking of, I played a Metal Gear Solid board game, and it was fucking awesome.
Did you get hide in a box?
No, there was no boxes in the mission we played. However, like, because when Buddy and I sat down and looked at it, we're like, well, how is this game going to imitate the AI of, you know, the stealth? Because it's all about stealth, right?
Get little balloons to tie to the enemies to, like, shoot them up.
That's 5. But yeah, like, if we are controlling the NPCs, how is this going to seem organic? And they've put some really good mechanics in there. So it just depending on how you use your action points can allow for alerts, and it's all done by dice rolls and cards. So although these people are doing patrols, the card will dictate how they patrol. So it'll be like they'll take 4 steps or 4 squares, and they will always turn right where possible.
Yeah.
So like it creates that. So everyone will do their turn, then the AI does their turn. You do your turn, but though like unless alerted, the AI will continue that path, and you can't affect that path.
That's cool.
So those the things are really cool.
Yeah. And the board game section is dope. Oversaturated, I think. There's a lot there. Everyone's spruiking their
consumerism.
Their next big thing. Yeah, so I'm against consumerism, but like the board game section is cool.
Yeah.
But
you're aware of the hypocrisy.
Yeah, but just looking at them, I'm like, this looks really fucking cool. Do you want to play? No.
I don't have time.
Admiring it.
Yeah, I don't have time to learn it now.
This looks like fun.
Like I saw Resident Evil 2 board game. I was like, oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's $149. You know what? It seems really cool.
Is that too much to ask for that kind of a board game though?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Even the Dark Souls one at $200.
Yeah.
I think considering what you get with it and how every game could be so different.
Yeah.
I think eventually that would pay for itself.
True, but I at that time while I was saying them, like I can't justify this.
Oh yeah, no, you can't just on a whim go yep. But you know, if you get home, you're like, actually no, I will pick that up.
Yeah.
At some point.
And the benefit of this and the metal. My voice is fucking up again. It's this morning it was absolute dumpster fire, and then because there was like nothing but like circulated air and smoke machines, and my voice just gave the fuck out this morning.
And body odor.
Body odor. And then throughout the day I kind of kept sort of quiet because once we did all the videos I kind of just chilled out. And then it was kind of picked back up, and now I'm on the way home. It's starting to give out again.
Well, the tabletop gaming is like the quiet section, in a way. There's still hundreds of people there, but you're not all like sardines.
Yeah.
So you can actually stop and have a look at things, and you know.
Yeah, and like
window shop. Yeah, and without buying anything.
Craig went to the classic gaming free play, and just played fucking Dreamcast for like an hour and a half. Yeah, he just played like old Soul Calibur 2, and then he played like Bomberman.
I still
and
have my Dreamcast.
Tony Hawk, and like he just like I had more fun over there because like these are games I've never played before. Because for him, he felt disconnected from the games that were there, so he went back. So he was like, well, these are the games that got me in. So then he felt rekindled back to gaming, which was very cool. But aside from how we feel about the convention as a whole, probably should talk about the games that I played. Probably should. So as I mentioned, the 3 games that I spent some time with were Doom, Final Fantasy, and Avengers. Which one would you like to hear about first, Josh?
Tell me about Final Fantasy.
All right. So now we should disclose that the Final Fantasy is in an alpha build. So in terms of its visual fidelity, some things were a little bit janky, and that came from that. An example was the hair looked very pixelated.
That's what they told you.
But yeah, like we're talking like unacceptable pixelation here, and that comes from no anti-aliasing and just a lack of render.
I just want the gameplay.
All right.
I can't give a fuck about the rest of how it looks. Sure, it looks good. Final Fantasy games always look.
Yeah, saying that, the game looks fantastic.
Yeah.
The gameplay's real well. Like real good.
Did you play Final Fantasy 15 at all? With the
no.
Not turn-based style combat?
No.
Oh, okay.
So everyone knows here, everyone that watches it, you know I can't fucking stand Final Fantasy. It's just not for me.
How about Persona?
Yeah. But like with Final Fantasy, I just can't care. But like I thought, for the benefit of Josh, for the benefit of the show, I'll take that hit and I'll go check it out. Yeah, I was totally won over.
Can you play 150 hours of it?
Maybe.
I think that's about how long a completion is.
If the story brings me in, potentially.
The story is really good.
There's a section that you are playing as Cloud and Barrett, and you have to deliver a bomb to some pipe, and then you go there and some scorpion-y fucking thing is what you fight.
That's right. It's the start of the game. That's in the first
Fantastic.
2 hours, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I've never played it, so I don't know. Yeah. The action stuff, totally fine. So what you do is you'll do the action moves as you would to build up your bar, whatever that fucking magic bar is, whatever mana, whatever it's APB or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when you go into your command to unleash said attacks, the game freezes, the game pauses, or it's as if time has stopped. Like there's slight movement, so it's not there's still that turn base to it. But not. So once again, I'm not knowing how Final Fantasy 15 worked here. But time slowed down. You picked what you wanted, and then you could without even
chop. It's like I can use a spell now.
But that's what I found the benefit was. So what I would do is I would have one on either side of this scorpion. I had Cloud on one side, Barrett on the other. So I'd open the command window, everything would go slow. I'd set up Cloud to do whatever he needed to do, and then I would press. So I wouldn't even leave the command, so everything would still be slow. I would come back around to the other guy, to Barrett, get him to deliver his electric power or whatever it was, and then action would come in. So I was without even realizing that was kind of turn-based within an action setting. Because the action setting I found way more engaging. But that comes from someone that doesn't have that pedigree of turn-based games. So for that idea is now, in terms of the demo, I did finish it right on the buzzer. They're like, 5 minutes left. I'm like, oh, shit.
Squish.
Yeah, and then I'm like fucking thunder, big heavy slash. And then I showed the last, and someone's like taps me on the shoulder. I'm like, I just can't watch the thing is. Yeah, I'm done. But yeah, for someone that had limited to no care about this, I'm totally in.
Well, it is the game that really, started it. Not in like, because Final Fantasy 1, because I forget his name, the guy who made Final Fantasy 1, he made pretty shit games up to that point, and this was his last ditch, Final Fantasy, and it took off. But when PS1 hit and Final Fantasy 7 hit, which was the first one to have that 3D kind of graphics instead of your traditional top-down
flat
sprite, pixely dudes, that's the one that everyone went, whoa, this is something different, like this is amazing, and the story is amazing, and the character is amazing, all that stuff is cool. I just don't believe that there isn't room for good turn-based combat games anymore.
Well, I think there certainly is, and that's where Persona 5.
You got to have fun with it. It doesn't have to be now me, now you, now me. Persona had all kinds of baton passing and weaknesses and all this cool stuff.
What was that game you played in a while with some cartoony style graphics, and people would speed it? People's turns would change because of how their speed was, and what was it called? It was like an Ubisoft game. There's a mouse in it.
I know Final Fantasy X it showed the next 10 turns of people, but then if someone was affected by haste or slow, the whole turn order would shift.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. But yeah, that's a perfect example actually.
Traveler was the same kind of thing. It showed the next 9 turns, but if someone's affected by a slow or a speed buff, things would shuffle about.
Cool.
You could strategically plan ahead and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at. So that's perfect. That's already just in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I came out very happy about it because my expectations were low, if nothing.
I'm expecting to really love it.
Yeah, I think you will.
I'm bitter now, but I know on launch I'll fire it up.
But you're bitter because you're tired.
I'll hear that. No, but I've been bitter about it since they announced it, dude. You know that. I'm always tired as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know I'll boot it up. The music will kick in. That opening train segment will kick in, and I'll just be like, oh. And I'm in. I know there's a 99% chance I'm going to fucking love it.
Yeah.
Just the lead up to it, I'm like, I'm just like a pouty kid. Like, you changed my game. A lot of people feel the same way. And a lot of people are like, shut the fuck up. They're modernising it. But it's a classic. It doesn't have to be modernised. But maybe it does.
Yeah, I feel the modernization works here. Now, we didn't get to try their version of turn-based because they mentioned that there's a new mode that would come involved that allows you to almost make it a turn-based game. We didn't see that here, but
I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it.
Final Fantasy comes out the 3rd of March. 3rd of March 2020.
Doesn't give me
Crystal
long to
Dynamics.
get through The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, you're going to run through it again?
The Last of Us 2.
Oh,
It's
yes,
out
Sorry, no.
second last
The
week.
TWO, not also.
Yeah.
Cool.
Doom
Eternal's fucking awesome.
I heard the music somewhere in there. I think when I was walking in, where like the where everyone was waiting to
the
get
Doom
in.
queue. Yeah, they had pyrotechnics. They had a giant screen.
But I heard metal music like, yeah, it's Doom.
Yeah,
Had that really like garage grunge thrash kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, that's definitely Doom.
So interesting story around this as well. So I made the appointment with the PR team here for Bethesda on Saturday, 9 a.m. Perfect, right? And then I realized, I'm like, wait, doors open at 10 on Saturday. There's no press hour. So I contacted them. And they're like, hey, you understand we can't get into 10. If we do, like, how is this going to work? They went, huh. That's how I read the email. Didn't say this, but this is how I read the email. I was like, oh, we'll get back to you. Bye. So it turns out they booked like 14 or 15 appointments in this hour, and then like they had to go to the PAX and be like, we fucked up.
Yeah.
We can't reschedule these. Like, what do we do? So we got chauffeured, almost like security, so we didn't run off into the other part of the center. So we got escorted to play Doom. It was on PCs. They didn't specify how old the build was or where it was sitting. Now, recently, with the announcement, the game is being delayed from its November release through to March as well, March 20, I believe. So you understand there's probably a lot here. So this was a mission. So it starts with a tutorial mission that showcases some of the changes that come with Doom. So previously, you would, when you do those ultra kills or overkills, whatever they were called, they'd go all colory, and then you could punch them and whatever. So you punched them, and it would deliver health and ammo.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The bigger the enemy, the more you got.
Yeah. So now it's changed. So they have 4 different ways to ultra kill something.
Okay.
So you have
you get what you need.
Yeah. So if you're running low on health, you punch them, and then that delivers your health. If you're running low on ammo, you use the chainsaw that's part of your suit. Chainsaw them. Done.
Oh no, that's how it was in Doom.
Was
in
it?
The first one.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I remember there being a chainsaw. I remember there being punching.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember the difference.
No, you're right. Yeah. You did, but it had very it was scarce ammo. You couldn't just use it all the fucking time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it was fuel. Yeah. And then because you now have a cannon on your shoulder, if you set fire to someone, you get armor back.
Okay.
And then there was a 4th one was like an overkill or something. I don't remember how I did that. So yeah, so the tutorial sort of showed a couple of the weapons. You used like a heavy rifle, a shotgun, and some other big fucking gun.
The BFG?
Maybe the BFG. I think it was BFG. I know the BFG wasn't BFG. So yeah, that was awesome. The tutorial was pretty straightforward. There's now climbing mechanics rather than just jumping on stuff. That added some really cool traversal. You can now swing.
How free are you with this grappling hook? Is it set points you can grapple? Can you grapple whenever you want?
We couldn't see the grapple hook in that sense. So there was a lot of wall running and then jumping onto like a bar and using that bar to swing and get momentum. You've now got like a dash, a bit of push forward, so you're able to kind of free
left
flow.
And right too, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so you're able to get up and
What I mean is it like Spider-Man with this hook, or is it like you can hook there, over there?
See, I didn't actually. I wasn't able to do any grappling. The only thing maybe it was in there, but I didn't see it, or the tutorial didn't bring it up.
Okay. Maybe something later.
Maybe it's coming later. However, one thing you could do is you get the shotgun, and the shotgun has this meat hook on the front, as they called it, where you'd shoot someone, go hit the thing, and bring them towards you, and you just fucking blow them face out. Love it. Absolutely awesome. So the game feels like Doom. It feels just as fast.
Is it any more? The word's probably not right, but colourful. Doom was just very orange, like corridors and orange.
Yeah, there was a bit. There was a bit more colour. I'm not saying there needs to be like
green, there doesn't need to be like forest and shit. But it was, as much as I loved Doom, it was kind of bland environmental wise.
Yeah.
It was very good, and it fit the theme, but it was still like, it's just sandy.
Yeah, the mission that I played still took place on Mars, or a Mars equivalent. So it did have that red Earth colors to it. I think it's it was in the trailers, like big fuck off cannon in the background. There's blown out stuff. And that's what
the same kind of complaint from like Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Or no, Borderlands 1. It's like, it's good, but it's just a desert.
Yeah.
And then 2 is like, okay, well, here's some different kind of biomes just to kind of mix up the scenery a little bit. And then 3 is just like different planets.
Like here's new planets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was really cool. It's fast, it's fluid. Gameplay, I had no hitches at all. I had one instance of screen tearing in one particular cutscene, but performance-wise, it was great. Now the delay for Doom came around the idea they quote saying they want to make a smoother, faster experience. So I'm like, well, how much fucking smoother and faster can they make it? This is awesome. Once again, that could be for consoles though. These are playing on PC here. And this one small section, maybe.
It's probably just for the Switch version.
Yeah, probably.
Is it coming to Switch?
I have no idea. But it's awesome, and musically, there is a difference here.
Yeah.
So it has the same industrial feel in terms of the music. However, it does feel a little bit more metal. Like it was a lot more double kick, a bit more thrashy. Which is kind of nice. So as I'm playing, the tutorial had like no music in it. I was like, oh man, this is kind of
Where's my chug?
Like, where's my chug? And then once you get into the main mission and like it, because it's really cool. So you're walking in as the Demon Slayer, and you're walking through this satellite station, right? And everyone's trying to work in part of the business. They see you go, and like shit the bed because they see you and they're like, oh, the Demon Slayer's coming through. He needs to get through. Like, why the fuck? So you just grab a dude by his face and just like drag him over. Use his pass. Boop, and then as you walk through the door, it's like
same as the first one when you went through the elevator.
Yeah,
and it's like, and the music went with that from the shotgun.
And
so I just saw this. I was looking at for Doom Eternal Switch. I didn't see anything. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is going to be 175 gig.
That's huge.
On your hard drive. It's
Absolutely
bigger than Red Dead.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
If you have a 500 gigabyte console,
pre-delete everything else.
Just delete everything.
You've already got about 250 gig free system files and shit at this point.
Gnarly.
Tangent.
Absolute gnarly. But
can you get the soundtrack on vinyl?
Not yet, but I will.
First one?
Yeah,
you've got that.
I've got it in the other room. Yeah. Oof. Oh. Yeah, so like there is some changes in the music here, which is the second I heard it, I was like fucking hard. I was like rock hard. And it was great. So it was just like, everyone's kind of like sitting there all chilling. I'm like, this is what I'm here for. This isn't only what I'm here for.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah, because gameplay is tight. And I'm like, this is sick. So I'm sitting next to like Lee from Gen Play, who just we happened to hang out with, and then Huzo from Player 2. And Huzo's actually a really good PC player. So he's like way ahead of me in the demo, and Lee's a little bit ahead of me as well. I'm just dying constantly. I'm like, this is fucking fun. I'm just having a great time. Because I was getting monstered by all this one little little map terrainy part to get blowing me away. One thing that was awesome though that they talked about coming over with Doom Eternal is this decay feature. So as you start shooting them and taking them out, they start falling apart. So you have a very clear knowing of where they stand.
Yeah. That's cool. I remember in the first one, the big enemies, I'm like, when are you going to fucking die?
It's like, why aren't you doing it? Like, because this big guy, and he's like, shoulder falls off, and someone like, oh, you are so close. You are so close.
That's cool. I like that. And
like those little visual tells really help you kind of plan on like, all right, chip him down a little bit, go over here, chip him down a little bit, and then come through with big punches and stuff, and just kind of clear it out.
I'm sure with that feature there will be some kind of mission or boss where there's two and you have to kill them within 5 seconds of each other or something like that.
Something gnarly.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, now Doom Eternal I'm very excited for. I am disappointed about the delay because it was on my list of games I want to give a shit about for the rest of the year.
That's right. Plenty more time for Death Stranding.
That's true.
Yes, 2 months.
That's true.
Hey, but the start of next year is stacked.
It is very stacked. It is incredibly
All right, and Avengers.
Finally, Avengers. So, Once again, alpha build had a lot of the same jaggery rendering issues that we saw over on Final Fantasy. Like hair was really kind of fucked up, and just some things looked a little bit off. So that's how I know that they were both having like both alpha builds, because they had the similar issue. If it was just like someone's face was missing, I'm like, that's the problem with the game.
And it's only on my one.
Yep. So Dylan and I played this one, which was great, because Dylan, being a big Marvel fan, it was cool to hear his opinion on it, because he was more about the character stuff, where mine was about the gameplay stuff. My going into this, my thoughts on it were low, because I already kind of poo-pooed it in my head.
Yeah.
Visually, it's still a little weird. Because you're so used to knowing these characters as these particular actors, so that uncanny valley is still there. But when you're playing the game and you're not seeing their face, you're seeing the back of their head, it's fucking awesome. Like, the game plays very similar to Arkham and Spider-Man, with the light and heavy hits, as well as the dodge, and then your corresponding abilities.
From the clip I saw at whatever the last event was, they're like fighting cops and stuff like that, or just people.
These are army dudes.
So how does that fit? Like, if Thor punches you, you're fucked.
Yeah, they didn't explain that.
You don't need any combos from Thor against people. You see what I'm getting at in that? Like, Cap, I can understand. He's just super soldier, but he's he's not a god from another planet.
So we'll get to that, because actually there is a little bit of that. So
yeah, I just saw them like fighting dudes, and I'm like, they're just dudes. Like, you just struck 40 people with lightning. Like, you just killed 40 people.
Yeah, because I had that thought when I was playing Thor, and I was like, "Whong!" I'm like, he's dead.
With the hammer.
He's so fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, how do you take that hit from Mjolnir and not die?
But then people were like, well, Marvel has never really been about them not killing anyone.
Yeah,
they're bad people, and so they die.
Yeah, they don't have the same rule as
DC
Batman.
has different rules. Well, same thing.
Yeah, so it is the prologue to the game. So there is like the Avengers Day, and then there is some trouble on a bridge, and that's where you got to go. So you get the alert that there's something happening, and then Iron Man and Thor come in. You start starting as Iron Man. You get to learn all these cool little awesome powers. So it has a lot of that Mjolnir, like throwing and like you're hitting them, and like it just kind of lodges them into the wall and stuff. Then you can pull them back, and it didn't quite feel as good as God of War. But I still really enjoyed it. Like, it felt good playing it, like doing big blast effects as Thor, focusing your lightning and whatnot. Iron Man started off with a flying section, which was really quite janky, mostly because it had no auto aim, which is probably a good thing for some. But you feel like you're just chaos shooting, and you're chasing these other flying things. Just
hold the trigger and hope.
Yeah, you just hold the trigger and just move the right stick around, because eventually you'll hit it. That's what it felt like, and like, so it didn't have that precision. Like, if you were Iron Man, a bit of auto aim here would be handy. You'd be like, like, you would feel it.
As if Iron Man doesn't have auto aim. We've seen it.
Yeah.
When he went back in like Iron Man 1 with all the terrorists, they're like, he's like.
So then you land and you have to do a bunch of cool things. So he's punching a lot of beam focus work, so it's very much distance based, which is a big different compared to Thor with his big area effect.
He's disintegrating human beings.
Oh, straight up, absolutely straight up. So yeah, fist fighting, launching stuff, and sort of a lot of aerial guys was this big deal.
Combo stuff.
Yeah, they all had combo stuff. So they all had the same, the same as Spider-Man and Arkham. Like, you punch, triangle, circle. You deliver.
No, I mean like team combos.
No, as in
like Thor, smack him in the air and I'll go. Shoo, and I'll roast him.
It happens a bit later. Someone does come in, but they don't have that team effect. Like, similar to Ultimate Alliance, where you could do cool combos together and make ultimate damage. That wasn't here in this particular section. Hulk just felt like big fucking button mashing. It was all about just like pounding things, picking up people, using them as weapons, and then running and doing a lot of platforming stuff. Because in the Avengers movie, how like Hulk can just jump onto a roof, onto a building, climb and grapple, and like, some Danky Kang stuff. So that was a lot that cool, which is fine. Cap straight up felt like Batman, because once again, the benefit of him not being a superpower, same as Black Widow, you feel very grounded, but you still feel very powerful because you're fucking Cap.
Just replace the batarangs with the shield.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like ground punching and grappling and like whipping that shield, and fuck, that shield feels good to throw. Bing, ping, ping, and then it comes back. Tight. Absolutely tight. Yes, that was really cool. And then Black Widow, you fight Taskmaster, so you actually the boss of the prologue. Hers is very close quarters fight mixed with guns, so there's a bit more that way.
John Wick stuff.
Yeah, John Wicky stuff. So a lot of dodging and just using gunfire on Taskmaster was the big thing. There's been quick time events in there as well to really sort of help that narrative delivery. Having low expectations, I really enjoyed this. It's like I understand like some of the graphic stuff was off, but because it seemed to be based on the skeleton or the framework of Arkham and Spider-Man, like it works. Like there's a reason that style of gameplay works for superheroes. And I'm sure a lot of people will be like, well, it's just like Arkham, it's just like Spider-Man, why is that a good thing? I'm like, it's totally a fucking good thing.
Arkham and Spider-Man were good games.
Yeah, because they both were brilliant games. You know how to play them, so you can ideally get a good story.
If anything, you get more because you get a more varied experience through all the characters.
Yeah, and like that's my one concern is how are they going to share the balance of these 5 characters? Like there are some that are similar, some that are different, but like how does each one get their own time without feeling like here's your Hulk mission, here's your Cap mission, you know? And I think so they also had Ms. Marvel there as playable. We didn't play, it wasn't on the floor. It was a behind closed doors demo that a good friend Padge played. So if you want to hear about that, go check out player2.com.au. Player2.net.au is where he's at. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was surprisingly really good. My anticipation for that game is a lot higher, and that one comes out in May.
Sounds about right. Mid next year.
Yeah, so early next year, mid next year sometime. But I'm super stoked on that one. That one has really caught my attention. So as I said, like this is the other benefit. Like by selecting games that I gave a shit about, I was able to have a better time at PAX because after every game I played, I'm like, I really enjoyed that. That's exactly what I wanted. Like there was none of this, well, I had to play this game because I thought I needed to cover it because everyone wants to hear about fucking I don't know, what's a game that was there that
Modern Warfare.
Yeah, everyone wants to hear about Modern Warfare. I'm like, saying that, I had a booking for Modern Warfare. I didn't go. I was playing Avengers because I got stuck in line at the Avengers. I'm like, shit. Yeah. So and then I was like, that's Modern Warfare. I was playing Avengers. Yeah, because like I've played Modern Warfare, and then went back around. The line was huge. I was like, nah. Because they were playing that there was the 2v2 alpha from earlier, so it's not like it was anything new anyway. If it was single player, I would have lined up because I wanted to see what that was. But yeah, so in terms of the games I played, PAX delivered. Totally delivered. There were some games I was interested in checking out, but I didn't. One was Rollerball from Ubisoft.
Roller Champions,
sorry. The one that's their version of Rocket League. It was just a bit too gnarly in terms of the line, so I didn't really jump out at it. Watch Dogs Legions was there, but it was once again just a playable presentation similar to EB Expo for Watch Dogs 2. In terms of sitting down watching someone else play a game, nah, mate. Nah.
You just insulted every Twitch viewer on the planet.
Yeah, but I mean at an event. But people at events.
But wouldn't you have rathered the 3 games that you played? Wouldn't it have been better to like play them all within a couple of hours of each other and go? Not like I need to be here for 3 days to play these 3 games.
Yeah, well, I kind of did. I didn't because I each played one on each day.
Yeah.
Avengers was on Friday. Doom was Saturday. Final Fantasy was Sunday. Ideally, it would be love to get that done in one day, but it's just not possible. And that's something that I think everyone that goes to PAX needs to understand. You will not get to play everything that you want. I was very lucky in terms of the 2 games, like 2 of the 3 games that I played were via appointment. So I was able to secure some time with those games because of the badges that we had. So people that go there and they'll wait in line for 4 hours to play Pokemon or something. Yeah. Mate, I can't think of anything worse.
We did it. The first time we went, we waited in heinous lines.
What for?
The first EB Expo.
Oh yeah, because we like thought we had to cover everything. So.
Yeah.
We're
in the line to play Black Ops something for like an hour and a half.
That was gross.
Yeah. Why? I didn't even buy that game in the end.
I think Battlefront was when we lined up the most in. That was the longest line.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That was disappointing. Yeah, I think for me it's just select the games that I give the most shits about, play them. It's all good. So, do I rate PAX this year? Yeah, because the games I played were dope, but
what about as an overall experience?
It was a lot lesser this year. There was less on display that was new. There was less on a positive. There was less people selling you shit.
Plus, if you wanted to buy Rage.
Oh man,
for
cheap. There was so many.
3 pallets of Rage collector's editions.
Like those that was like $300 collector's edition, like $70.
Yeah,
almost
did.
Yeah, they had 3.
I almost bought it.
They had 3 pallets of the.
There was a pallet for PC, one for Xbox, and one for PlayStation.
They had lightsabers though.
Oh, very expensive.
Oh, very expensive lightsabers.
No, if you're gonna get one, wait to get one from Sons of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but like they don't sell the Obi-Wan one, the one they want from Episode 1 Phantom Menace, because I'm a weirdo and I like that lightsaber.
Because it's green.
No, because I like the hilt.
Is it blue?
It's blue and it's the hilt that I like the most. Because the hilt is incredibly impractical to actually fight with. It's stupid.
Surely someone you know has a 3D printer.
Yeah. You bought me over.
Ethan?
Yeah, he does have a 3D
Probably.
printer. I could make that happen.
Could.
But yeah.
Alright, you have any more to say about PAX?
No, man. PAX was great. So I enjoyed it because I mostly spent the time socializing. So we were there for 3 nights, 4 days. The Thursday night we arrived. We met some people and then went back to the room, watched AEW. It was great. Friday night we went out, was being social, came home, went to bed. Saturday night I was exhausted after multiple podcasts during the day, the panel in the evening. So I went back to the room, watched SmackDown, then watched the Breaking Bad movie, and went to bed. Bringing my PlayStation, best idea I've ever had.
Fair.
Because we always just get bored in the room and just don't know what to do. Best idea. Absolute best idea. And then today was just more catching up with people, and in terms of it's the social aspect for me the most. But seeing as you aren't engaged within that social circle, I think it makes it even tougher for you to appreciate PAX in that way. Like for me, it's all about doing those couple of games, but then also seeing the likes of Buddy and Padge and Dash, who I didn't get to see again this year, and then like the Explosion Network guys and just everyone that's my friends that I get to see. Because external to my local friends group is fucking you and Craig and Dylan, and and then I have this other subsect of friends that are my internet friends.
Yeah,
it's a very weird sentence saying that.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, so part of it is a big social event for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but as I said, like a lot of games. Are we doing the drop this week?
No, there's nothing on there.
No, cool. The drop, there's games, but nothing of note. So,
there's a lot of games.
There's a lot of games. Nothing big though. Next week though, Medieval.
Ooh.
Yeah, wrap it up.
That PlayStation conversation happened on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. Australian Standard Time on YouTube and 8 a.m. on iTunes, Spotify and other podcast services. If you'd like to be a part of future conversations, please join us on Facebook, Discord, comment below. Feeling generous, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/PopCulturists. Head over there, check out the tiers. Might be something there that interests you.
If you support us on Patreon at any dollar value, you can get yourself a nice little link where you can watch us record this show live, as well as our other shows, The Young and The Wrestlers. If you want to support us in more once-off fashion, head over to popculturists.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturists. Forgot to do it at the start of the show. If you do like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're interested. If you listen to this on podcast services, why don't you go over there and give a nice little adequate star rating and maybe a written review if you were so inclined. Now, I'm going to edit this so I can go to bed because I'm fucked. Until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Josh Saunders.
And that was For the Players. For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturists. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.